Hello everyone and welcome to All About Nerd. We love collecting action figures, so when we came across this Link action figure, we just had to add it to our collection. So join us here at All About Nerd for our review of the Figma Link Tears of the Kingdom DX Edition action figure. Once again, this is the Link Tears of the Kingdom version DX Edition action figure made by a company called Figma. Now, I have always been a massive fan of The Legend of Zelda. I love playing the video games, especially Tears of the Kingdom. It's one of my favorites because of everything that you can do in it. But I have never been a huge fan of the action figures because they've always seemed so generic. Particularly the amiibos and everything else that they've just released that's licensed from Tears of the Kingdom, nothing has been really astonishing. But when I saw this action figure by Figma, I just had to have it. Part of it is due to all the time that was spent on the details of this action figure, from all of the accessories that are included in the box to the detailed artwork that is on this box itself. There have been a lot of times where we purchased action figures in the past before and they looked nothing like what was advertised when we pre-ordered or when we ordered that. So when we got it in our hands, we realized that we got the real deal. This thing looks amazing, from the packaging all the way to the action figure itself, and you'll see right now as we start unpackaging it. Now, as I mentioned before, this is the DX edition, which means that there are other editions of this figure, but this is the most complete edition. If you're going to get one, this is the one that we recommend that you get because it comes with all of the accessories that you're going to see on screen. Things like the Master Sword, the scabbard for the Master Sword, the Hylian Shield, the wooden shield, the rocket attachment for the wooden shield, the bow, the cape, the paraglider, and so many other little details that come in this box that just help you with posing Link in the best possible way that you can think of for every single attachment that comes with this. Now, I have never been a fan of paperwork when it comes to action figures, when it comes to toys, when it comes to any kind of video game or anything like that. But in this package comes an instruction manual of how to remove the pieces or detach them from Link so that you can pose them in different ways. It'll tell you what pieces have to go where or how you can best pose them, what attachments you connect with one another so that you can be able to make the poses that you really want to make on this action figure. And I do recommend that you follow the instructions because as I found out when I was trying to pose them, it can be very difficult to try to figure it out without looking at the instructions on how to remove a specific piece. And it's important because what you don't want to do is break one of these pieces because they are very fragile sometimes, and you don't want to break something off that you're not going to be able to replace. There are no replacement parts. There are two little extra pieces that come in the joints for the hands, but I didn't see any other extra pieces that can be replaced. But there are so many different things that you can do with this action figure, so you want to be very careful and look at the instructions that come in the box. And with a bit of editing magic, all of the pieces are now out of the box and laid out before you, so we can go ahead and start talking about all those accessories that come in the box so that you can post Link to your heart's content. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is those instructions that I mentioned that you should read, because it's going to be very important for you to be able to pull some of these pieces apart and be able to determine how you're going to get them into Link's hands. Every hand attachment, whether it be for the Zoanai arm or for the human arm, is made for a specific purpose of holding a specific weapon or one of the shields, depending on what hand you want to place that weapon on, whether you want to be on the left hand or whether you want to be on the right hand. Now, for the Master Sword, I like what they thought about doing here. Since you cannot put the sword through the hand because of the hilt, what you do is you remove the hilt, you then put the hilt through the hand, and then you put the Master Sword back on the hilt. That way you don't have to damage any of the pieces, try to pry open any fingers or anything like that. Now, it's a lot easier if you disconnect the hand and then place the hand back on Link, because it's very easy to do. A lot of the pieces from Link just come detached. So it's best that you look at the instructions to figure out which parts do come apart so that you're not pulling on something and breaking something instead of it not coming apart. As I mentioned before, there are no replacement parts included except for the joints that articulate the hands for Link. Now, if we look at the stick that has the rock attached, this one has the same principle. You can remove the bottom of the stick so that you can place that through the hand, and then you reattach the bottom of the stick so that it can close and not fall out of his hand. Now, this is a heavy weapon, so you have to make sure you post Link in a way that he doesn't topple over, because it's made that way so that it has mass to it. The Zoanite weapons have a lot of detail to them, and it's so awesome to see the rocket included because I have so many memories in the video game with this, including attaching it to the poor Koroks and then just launching them as far as I could to see if I could land them in the spot that they were supposed to be in. I like that you can attach the fire at the bottom and attach it to the shield. The one thing I wish about the Zoanite weapons is that I wish that they glowed in the dark or they had some sort of LED so that you can get that replication from the video game where it had the eerie teal blue glow. Now you can also attach the cape, and the cool part about this is that when I first was trying to attach this, I thought I broke the figure. This is when I really got scared, but then I realized that the head just pops right off, and then you put the cape and attach it to the back, and then you're able to just reattach the head for Link. And again, like I said, there are a lot of parts in this action figure that just come apart, and they don't just easily come apart. You have to kind of wiggle them and pull them out. That's where it can be scary, where you're not sure which part you need to remove so that you can attach another part without breaking it. I felt like I was breaking some parts when I was pulling too hard, so I had to double check the instructions just to make sure that I wasn't going to break something. Now remember what I said about that each hand is made for a specific type of weapon or for a way that you want to hold the shield. This is where it comes in very handy, particularly with the Hylian Shield. It is so detailed, and I love the shield. It's so iconic. It's from the very first game, and I just love the way this looks. Now, one cool thing about it though is that Link can hold this on both his left hand and his right hand. It depends on what hand you want to place the Master Sword on. There is a hand holder for the sword on the Zoanite arm and one on the human hand as well. And depending on which side you want to have the shield on, what you can do is just remove the hand holder by popping it out and then moving it to the other side. At which point then you would just move the correct hand and attach it to Link so that you can post it in whatever way you want to have it. Now you want to have Link be right-handed or left-handed, it doesn't really matter. Now for the circular shield, the wooden shield, it doesn't matter because it's circular, so you can just flip it around, which you cannot do that with the Hylian Shield because then it would be upside down. Now the wooden shield is not detachable because of the fact that it's round, and you can just simply turn it around so that you can just have Link hold it on the left or the right hand depending on how you want to do it. Now the glider is the one that comes with hands that are permanently attached to it, so that Link just attaches straight into the glider. So what you would do is you would remove both hands, and then you'd be able to attach the glider directly onto the arms of Link so that you can pose them with the glider and the attachment that it comes so that you can stand them up and the glider still above his head. Included are different faces that you can swap out so that you can have Link in those different poses that you want, whether it be the serious face, which comes standard, or if you want the smiling face, or if you want the yelling face. Now, these are only included in this DX version. The standard stern face is the only one that comes in the basic edition. So I do recommend this one because of the different faces that you can attach to it. Now, the hardest weapon that I found to attach was the bow, because there is no way to remove anything from the bow so that you can place it into the hand attachment. There is one particular hand where the bow would go on, and I believe it's only on the left hand, that the human hand, where Link can hold the bow. And getting it into that part, that took a little bit of effort, but once I put it in there, I just left it there because of the fact that that hand is specifically for the bow, and I found it very difficult to get the bow back out, so I just left it there since nothing else is going to go. Now I do like this stand because this is the stand that's pretty sturdy. It lets you post Link in the different methods that you want, whether you want a jumping pose, an attacking pose, where you want him to be on the glider. You're going to need that so that you can attach him and stand him up correctly. Now another cool part about this is that you see all the joints that he has on the knees, on the boots, so you can have him stand up in different ways. He comes off in the middle so that you can use the attachment and have him warp as if he was going through the bottom or through the top of something else. It is so cool that they thought about all these little details and all these little things that just remind you so much of the game. Now, this is why I fell in love with this action figure, because of all those little things that you can do with it, that it just reminds me so much of the game. That's why I fell in love with this action figure. Now let's highlight some of the poses that you can place the statue in. Let's start with the bow and arrow, and this is probably the hardest one to pose because of the fact that it's very difficult to get the arm on the right hand to be able to be straight and the arrow is pointing directly like it should on the bow. The picture for the instructions has it like perfectly pointing, but I found it very difficult to pose it. I know that it's possible, but it takes a lot of time and effort, and this is not the pose that I was going to leave Link in either way, so I just took this pose and did it for the shot, and I think it's pretty cool still. I do recommend spending a little bit more time to straighten it out, because you have the ability to do so, and you can have him jumping, you can have him kneeling when he's shooting the bow. It doesn't really matter. Second pose that we're going to focus on is the warp. As it's a very simple pose. It's just a matter of placing his hands in a way as if he's pushing himself out. It just looks so very cool, and it's the easiest one because there's no attachments other than the bottom portion. You remove it and then you attach him. The glider is one of my favorite ones because I had so much fun with the glider. I remember just jumping as high as I could and seeing how far I could travel on the glider. And you can just pose them in so many different ways. Again, it's one of the easiest attachments that you can complete because of the fact that all you have to do is disconnect the hands and then attach it to the bottom of the glider. You can have Link with the scabbard, you can have Link with the sword on his back, or with the cape, whatever you want to attach to him. It will look pretty cool, and it would just be on his back as he has his hands up in the glider itself. I love the way that he looks. I love the details on the glider. I love the strings that are coming off the back. I wish that there was different gliders that you can attach to it, kind of like you can do in the game, but it's such a cool pose that I like. Now, the rock one, like I mentioned, this is a difficult one to do because of the fact that the rock is pretty heavy. So you have to pose it in a way where the center of gravity doesn't topple Link over, or his hand doesn't fall over, because although the arms are pretty sturdy, the weapon will make it like fall forward or move to the side depending on how you're trying to pose it. But this is where you want to have those faces come into different play so that he looks like he's yelling when he's attacking or whatever he's doing. The rocket, you attach it to the shield. Now it looks like Link is launching up. It's one of my favorite poses as well, because again, it reminds me of the game and all the stuff that I used to do. Like, you attach it to your shield, launch yourself up, and then use your glider so that you can go as far as you can possibly can. And again, as you can see, the hand goes through it. You can put it on the left hand, you can put it on the right hand. It really is just a matter of preference on whether you want to be right-handed or left-handed when holding the sword. Now, finally, we'll go into the last and final pose, which is the iconic Hylian Shield with the Master Sword. And this is probably my favorite pose because of the fact that this is just standard Link. This is the one that you would get if you bought the standard version, and this is the Link that you want, then I would go with the standard version. But I like the DX version because of all those other details that you can get, including the cape, including the scabbard to the sword, including the wooden shield and the rocket and everything else that comes with it. But this iconic Link just looks amazing, and putting it in an action pose, you can change the face out so that he's slashing with the Master Sword. You can have him kneeling, you can have him jumping, you can have him standing stern, and it just looks so cool. The details on this action figure are phenomenal, and I recommend it for anybody who wants to get it. Now, like I said, I got this from a seller directly from Japan, and I am so happy with the detail and the quality of the action figure. Now, I know they sell this figure here in the US as well. There weren't so many of them in stock when I ordered mine, so now you can find them a little bit more. They range anywhere between the prices of $140 to $200 depending on the seller and the shipping that they include. So if you can find it here in the US at around that price range, it's a good deal. I do recommend it. Make sure you get the DX edition. This is the Link Tears of the Kingdom version DX edition of the Figma figure. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed our review of this action figure. We do want to review some more action figures that are in our collections, some stuff that we picked up recently, so that you guys can check out what we're into and the toys that we like to collect ourselves. So hope you join us here for the next All About Nerd.